Imagine stepping on a plane, flying twice the speed of sound, and landing in New York before your London breakfast even had time to digest. That wasn't science fiction, that was Concorde. A sleek, needle-nosed jet that could outrun a bullet, make you feel like royalty, and turn a 6-hour flight into just 3. So why did this miracle of aviation vanish from the skies forever? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the glamorous, turbulent, and tragic story of Concorde, the supersonic passenger jet that promised to change the world, but instead became a legend of what could have been. From its record-breaking speed to its shocking downfall, this is the rise and fall of Concorde. The story begins in the 1960s, when Britain and France, two nations not exactly known for playing nicely, decided to team up on a bold experiment, building the world's first supersonic passenger aircraft. The result? The Concorde, with its slender delta wings, futuristic droop nose for visibility, and for Rolls-Royce, Snecma Olympus engines that roared louder than anything else in the sky. By 1976, Concorde entered service with British Airways and Air France. And it wasn't just a plane, it was a promise. A promise that the future of air travel would be faster, sleeker, and more glamorous than ever before. So what was it like flying Concorde? Imagine a plane that cruised at Mach 2, that's over 1,350 miles per hour. At that speed, the very skin of the aircraft would heat up so much that Concorde would stretch and expand by nearly 20 centimeters mid-flight. Yeah, this thing literally grew in the air. Inside, the cabin was surprisingly small, only about 100 seats. But the real luxury wasn't legroom, it was bragging rights. Flying Concorde was like having a golden ticket. Rock stars, CEOs, presidents, even the Queen herself. If you wanted to flex your status in the 80s and 90s, you didn't buy a yacht, you flew Concorde. And that ticket, adjusted for inflation, it cost more than $12,000 one way. Yep, not exactly budget airlines. But behind the glamour, trouble was brewing. For starters, Concorde was thirsty, really thirsty. It burned more fuel per passenger than almost any aircraft in history. Add in maintenance costs, noise complaints from sonic booms, and limited range, and suddenly, the supersonic dream was starting to look expensive. Governments around the world began banning supersonic flights over land because of the ear-splitting boom. That meant Concorde could only go supersonic over oceans. And while New York and Paris loved it, routes were limited, profits were thin, and airlines just couldn't make the numbers work. Still, Concorde kept flying, kept dazzling the skies for decades, until tragedy struck. On July 25, 2000, Air France Flight 4590 departed Paris and never made it far. A piece of debris on the runway punctured a fuel tank, sparking a fire that brought the plane down within minutes. All 113 people on board were killed. It was the first and only fatal crash in Concorde's history, but it shattered confidence in the aircraft. Combine that with the economic downturn after 9/11's, rising fuel prices, and the staggering costs of keeping a supersonic fleet in the air, and the writing was on the wall. In 2003, Concorde made its final flight. People cried at airports, pilots saluted. And just like that, the age of supersonic passenger travel was over. But here's the thing, Concorde never really died. Sure, it's grounded, but it still lives in our imagination. It proved that we could push boundaries, that we could defy the limits of speed, and that flying could be more than just transportation, it could be an experience. And now, companies like Boom Supersonic and NASA are working on new, quieter, more efficient supersonic jets. Concorde may have been retired, but its spirit, it's just waiting for takeoff again. So, what do you think? If you had the chance, would you pay 12 grand just to fly 3 hours faster than everyone else? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story of the legendary Concorde, smash that like button, subscribe for more incredible aviation stories, and let's keep flying high together.